Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes had the perfect weekend, and they didn't even play a football game. Let's talk about it and what happened over the weekend to cause it to be so perfect for the Buffs after the bumper. Stay tuned. What is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on JeffLightsYJr. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your content. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and notification bell because I upload all the time. That Colorado, Coach Prime and the Buffs had the perfect weekend this past weekend, even though they didn't even play a football game. And let me outline why the weekend was so perfect. Well, it started during Saturday's games as everybody was prepping and watching their favorite college football morning show, whether it is college game day or big noon kickoff. There was one person who made a crossover and one person who has ever made a crossover on both the big noon kickoff and college game day, and that person happened to be none other than the front runner for the Heisman right now, Travis Hunter. Let me go ahead and show you a picture. Travis Hunter became, from what I understand, the first person ever to appear both on college game day and big noon kickoff on the exact same day. And Travis did it, and they weren't even in Boulder. They were in Happy Valley for the Penn State versus Ohio State game. And you see Travis at the bottom with two former Heisman Trophy winners, and Mark Ingram and Matt Leinart, and Travis up at the top with another former Heisman Trophy winner, Desmond Howard, Reese Davis, Pat McAfee, the legend Coach Saban, and Kirk Herbstreit. And yes, Travis Hunter, from what I understand, the first person to ever do this. That's perfect in itself because, one, it is continued coverage and continued momentum and continued hype, all rightfully so, for Travis to continue to be the front runner for the Heisman Trophy, as Travis is one of the best receivers in leading receiving, catching touchdowns at the top towards the Big 12 and hell at the top towards the nation, and then also have a PFF grade of 85 as a cornerback playing almost 100, like roughly 150 snaps per game. So that was perfect for Colorado as Travis was out there marketing himself, and also not just himself on major platforms, the biggest platforms for college football outside of the games themselves, but also marketing. Let me see if I can pull this up. Marketing himself for Heisman, but not only himself, but if you saw my thumbnail, you would saw that he was also marketing none other than his teammate Shedeur Sanders. So you see the Heisman flag that he brought to the sets, and it has his logo, his name, Travis Hunter, the Colorado Buffalo logo, and then Shedeur Sanders' logo with Shedeur's name. So this was just all perfect. This is Pete Thamel of ESPN tweeting this out, by the way. And this got seen almost 200,000 times. Once again, free promo, free marketing. You can never have, I mean, Colorado has the most out of any team in college football anyway, but you can never have too much. You can never do too much. You can never have enough people talking about you, your team, your program, especially if you're looking to get someone to win the Heisman. But it didn't stop there. It didn't stop there because due to the events that took place on Saturday, it made Colorado's game this upcoming week against Texas Tech even more massive. We're going to get to what actually happened during the games, but because it is so massive and because it makes so much sense to go there after what took place on Saturday, Big Noon Kickoff is headed to Lubbock, Texas to see the game that features none other than who? Coach Prime, Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, and the Colorado Buffaloes. As Big Noon Kickoff, Fox's premier college football pregame show, is headed to Lubbock, Texas to cover the Colorado versus Texas Tech game. Once again, another thing to add to the list of great things to happen for Colorado over this weekend. But nothing, albeit Travis doing something that's one of one. That's very much like Travis, by the way. Him being able to do something that is one of one, that is unique, that no one else has ever done. That's what he's doing on the football field. That's what he was able to do by being both on Big Noon Kickoff and College Football Saturday. Colorado getting Big Noon Kickoff to come to Lubbock, Texas. Yeah, they're coming to Lubbock at Texas Tech, and Texas Tech played a part in them coming, by the way. But the draw is two guys that should be in New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony. And Let's talk about why they're even going there. That is because, due to the events that took place on Saturday, Colorado is now tied for second in the Big 12 conference. Let me share this tab and share my screen and make sure you see this. At the top of the conference, obviously, is BYU. They're undefeated. They're 5-0 in conference. Iowa State fell this week. Iowa State took a L to Texas Tech. They took an L to Texas Tech, and now they are tied with the Buffs at 4-1 in conference play. And remember, the top two teams, there are no divisions anymore. So the top two teams will appear in the conference championship game for the Big 12. And right now, Colorado has a legitimate shot to making the Big 12 championship game, because not only did Iowa State lose, but Kansas State also lost. Kansas State, who has the head-to-head win over Colorado. So as long as both teams had one loss in conference apiece, Kansas State would get the tiebreaker because they beat Colorado on the road in Boulder. Well, now that doesn't matter, because Kansas State now has two losses after they got upset this past weekend by none other than Houston. They lost to Houston. So they lose to Houston. Iowa State loses to Texas Tech. Colorado gets a bye week, so they don't play, and they continue. They're on a nice little win streak, and now it's a two-way tie at the top of the Big 12 conference, with BYU being the lone undefeated team, to settle who is going to end up in the Big 12 championship game. And if you end up in the Big 12 championship game, you have that much bigger of a chance of what? Making the college football playoff, because the Big 12 gets an automatic bid into the playoffs. So if you win the conference championship, you get the automatic bid to the college football playoff. I cannot believe. I guess I can believe, because I did predict preseason that Colorado would be a double-digit win team, but I cannot believe, post the North Dakota State showing, which wasn't great, albeit a win, but it wasn't great, and the disaster that was the blowout loss to Nebraska, that we would be talking in week 9, going into week 10, about Colorado having a legitimate shot of making the Big 12 championship, which therefore means they have a legitimate shot of making the college football playoff in just year 2 of the Deion Sanders experiment at Colorado. The Deion Sanders experiment, era, tenure, whatever you want to call it. This is insane. This is pretty remarkable. This is pretty cool, y'all. Like, this is pretty cool. Now we got to look at the remaining schedule for the teams above Colorado and that's in the mix with Colorado. So the remaining schedule for BYU, the lone undefeated team, it looks like they should take care of business. Utah is not the same team. They've been a disaster towards the end of the year. Kansas hasn't been good all year. Arizona State that's an interesting matchup there. Arizona State they're vastly improved, but that one is one to watch. But remember, BYU has a game to kind of play with, right? Like, they have a game to play with because they are undefeated right now. And they will be the highest ranked team, and they've got a win over Kansas State. So they got a game to play with. So that's an interest in Arizona State. And in Houston, albeit they upset Kansas State, I'm still not afraid of Houston at all. If I was BYU, I don't expect Houston to give you that many problems. Now, let's take a look at Iowa State, the other team that technically is still ahead of Colorado, but does have that loss, and they're tied with the Buffs right now for second place. So they have Kansas. Everybody plays Kansas. They have Kansas this upcoming week. They should take care of business. Cincinnati, they should beat Cincinnati. Oh, Scott Satterfield, I know him way too well living in Louisville, but that'll be interesting to watch them go against Cincinnati. Utah, once again, they've kind of folded towards the end of the year, so that's not that big of a deal. Now, this game right here against Kansas State is massive, because Kansas State needs some help, but none of it matters if they don't win out. And so Utah, someone's going to lose here. And if it happens to be Iowa State to Kansas State, that is, and any of these games will give Colorado life. But this one is the one that could potentially shake the room, shake everything up, and it's the last week of the regular season. Now let's take a look at the Buffs' remaining schedule. Now, I talked about this game upcoming is massive. You've got Texas Tech, big noon kickoff. It's going to be a great day down in Lubbock. Now, Texas Tech is showing you the ability to upset teams. You should go down there and look to take care of business. This is a homecoming for a lot of the players on your team. Shedeur, Cameron Craig, all of those guys got family and got ties to the state of Texas. A lot of players from Colorado are from Texas. That's going to be a big game from them. I know Deion Jr. has already put out there that a bunch of his former teammates and friends and family down in Texas are looking to get tickets. He's like, yo, I can't do nothing for y'all, gang. I can't do nothing for y'all. I got to hit up the folks down at Lubbock. But that's a big one right there. You take care of that one. Once again, everybody seems to play Utah. Utah's not the same. They're not the team. Neither them or Kansas are the teams that they have been, but you've got to be careful with Oklahoma State. You've got to be careful here, I think, here and here. Now, Utah's well coached. Kansas is kind of a mess, but you've got to be careful this week against Texas Tech and to wrap up the season with Oklahoma State. Luckily, you'll get a chance to play your game and watch what happens on November 29th and watch what happens on November 30th between Kansas State and Iowa State. But if you run the table, the door is open for you to head to the Big 12 championship game. And if that happens, that means the door is open to the college football playoff. I mean, after 2 weeks during the regular season, nobody would have thought that this Colorado team would actually have a legitimate shot of making the college football playoff now that everything went perfect. I mean, they literally had the perfect weekend. Travis is promoting the brands, both himself, Shedeur, and the Colorado football brand on Big Noon Kickoff, on College Game Day, getting all the questions, getting all the answers, doing it like superbly, just handling himself with style and grace, and it was amazing. Obviously, the upsets. Houston upsets Iowa State. Texas Tech upsets Iowa State. Houston upsets Kansas State. Kansas State gets that second loss. And then to put the cherry on top, I got to show you guys this. Hold on. And then, Colorado's in a recruiting battle for one of the biggest prospects at the quarterback position in the country. And so this also took place over the weekend. As you guys know, Juju Lewis is currently committed to USC. Well, the Trojans have now fallen to under 500, and they took another loss. They lost to Washington. I'm just saying. The weekend couldn't have been more perfect for Colorado. The weekend, let me repeat, the weekend couldn't have been more perfect for Coach Prime and the Buffs because everything seemed to have gone their way. And my brother actually sent me this. Now, this is just a tweet put out there by, just a fan. I thought this was funny. Hold on, let me see if I can find this. One second. There it is. Here it is. Let's share this really quick. This is a tweet put out by Bravo Charlie College Football. It was a quote tweet of a Lincoln Riley is a guru of nothing. This is disgraceful. This is Zachariah Branch. He's one of the most explosive players in all of college football. He had an amazing true freshman season last year for USC with Caleb Williams returning punts, catching touchdown passes. They were using him all over the field, and he was scoring touchdowns everywhere. Well, this season is true sophomore season. It's not going according to plan, and USC, as I just showed, has fallen to under 500 this year. Only 29 catches for 302 yards and 0 touchdown catches. I don't think he's had any big-time punt returns or kick returns either, which he was able to do masterfully last year. That's not the case this season. And Bravo Charlie College Football said, man, he would feel that Jimmy Horn / LeJontay Wester role pretty nicely. And this got sent to me by my brother. So this got seen by almost 90,000. It'll be 90,000 people by the time you see this. I'm just saying, when it rains, it pours for some teams. That looks like what it's happening for USC. And sometimes God just smiles on people and smiles on programs. And that looks to be the case for Coach Prime and the Buffaloes right now. Everything seems to be going stupendously for them. As this weekend, even though they didn't even play a game, went perfectly for them. And sometimes it just works out like that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think Colorado had the perfect college football weekend, even though they didn't even play a bye? I just gave you the reasons why I do. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, my name is JeffLightsyJr. This is Victory Formation Sports Show. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JLightsy7. That is on Twitter, aka X, and Instagram at JLightsy7. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you next time. Peace.